everyone, my name is Antonella and I'm here today to talk to you about, Hi everyone, my name is Antonella Frasher and I'm here today with you to talk about Tales of a Musical Journey. Okay, let's get right to it. Now, if you have been living under a rock and you have not heard about Irina Gorin, you should definitely buy these books because it is time. So I have here with me Tales of a Musical Journey 1 and Tales of a Musical Journey 2. I heard about Irina maybe 2 years ago on a Facebook group. She has an awesome Facebook group called Tales of a Musical Journey, I believe, and I was so curious to see why there were so many members. To this day, it has grown even more. I cannot remember the exact number of people. Okay, why do I love this so much? Let's get to it. Number one reason is definitely its emphasis on technique. When I started taking piano lessons, which I don't remember quite as well, to be honest, I was 6, I know for sure that it was not using 5-finger patterns or pentascales. So the book is super cute. It is very colorful and it has a lot of stories. So the stories revolve around Fairy Musicalina and other characters like the king. So the first pages are getting to know you, all about you, which I absolutely love. And then it starts with telling you about the magical sounds of the musical kingdom. And one of my favorite lines is that when you look at the piano, remember that it is a magical place where all the sounds live. When we play the piano, we make beautiful music. So from lesson 1, the emphasis is in sound, technique, listening, instead of just making sounds without even thinking on the piano, which can happen, especially with young beginners. We get to the part where you talk about groups of 2 and 3 black keys as little houses and small houses in a big neighborhood. I love that concept. And then making rainbows. I believe this is a concept I found out about in Faber, but it's kind of the same thing, where you go from groups of 2 to groups of 2 or 3 in like a rainbow, with arching your wrist and really lifting to make beautiful sounds. So this is how it presents how to learn the alphabet, which is beautiful. I love all the steps, so you get the idea of C and D are pretty close together. And we get to know metronome, absolutely love that. And then very unique is this activity. So you read this based on long and short sounds. So for example, a 5-year-old might not really understand the connection of long and short sounds, or counting 1 or counting 1, 2 for a quarter or a half note. Sometimes they will tell me, oh, a half note is 2 seconds, a quarter note is 1 second, but that's not really the truth. So one activity you can do with your students, even if you do not have this book, is definitely this. So you can tell them that, hey, this circle that is not filled is long and the filled one are short, so you can clap it. Something like I see the moon and the moon sees me. I love that activity. And then we get to see different songs. I absolutely love that there are steps and absolutely no notation, just symbols, so anyone can understand this. And from the beginning, Irina really emphasizes the concept of a weeping willow tree. So you know how a weeping willow tree is kind of like this? So that's what we want in piano. We want our arms to just float and just sound beautiful. I really encourage you to go watch her lessons on YouTube. One of my other favorite things is definitely how fast it introduces the staff. I do not like it when you need 1 year to get into the staff, or when you just learn all of the stuff all at once. So I absolutely like the idea of intervallic reading, which gets you ready for staff reading. So the notes are introduced one at a time, which I absolutely love. And there's a story about each note. They're color coded, something like this. And I find that the students who I started with tales are some of my strongest readers. So that is awesome. Let's see, what else do I love? This concept of monkey swinging. So you know, when you want to project a long note, you want the sound to keep going. So how do you do that? Well, you do what I call the chicken wings. It's really a random term that I call it, but every pianist knows that if you do this and make your arm or your wrist go towards the right, I guess for the right hand, that note will really project and sound really nice. So that concept is introduced from the very first lessons. So again, the emphasis on technique, I love it. So the last song is definitely Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, which everyone loves playing. And that's the first book. I would say that this book works for students who really enjoy piano, not for those who don't practice. We all have that student who just is doing it because their parent is making them, and you need the income, so you cannot really turn them away. So I would recommend this for the students who are hardworking. This can be controversial. One of the things I do not like about it at the moment are the lyrics of the songs. Sometimes the rhymes don't really make sense, so students will ask me. So maybe in the new editions, Irina can change some of the lyrics. That gets us to Tales of a Musical Journey 2, which is even better than the first one. Now this one is definitely harder than the first one. There's a big jump in my opinion from book 1 to book 2. And book 1, even though it looks slow paced, you could, depending on your student, you could go faster. But for book 2, it's definitely more challenging. We get into 2-note slurs, sharps and flats, into 3-note slurs. One thing I should mention about book 1 is that the pinky and the thumb do not really get introduced until much later. So you really work on strengthening 2, 3, and 4 for a beautiful hand technique, and then you can finally introduce our stubborn thumb and our pinky, who likes to kind of do its own thing. So I believe Irina is coming up with new books, so I'm super excited to buy those and get to share it with you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day or night, depending on where you are. Bye.